Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ramon. Let's continue. I'm showing you my physical media collection. First 5 movies are 5 collaborations between Martin Scorsese and actor Leonardo DiCaprio. First one is The Aviator, about Howard Hughes. This is Gangs of New York, also starring Daniel Day-Lewis. Scorsese's The Departed was a remake of the Hong Kong film Infernal Affairs. The psychological thriller Shutter Island, and my favorite film of Scorsese the past 25 years, The Wolf of Wall Street, UK Blu-ray, and I also own this Dutch Blu-ray. This is a drama by Mike Lee, Another Year, a remake of The Italian Job with Mark Wahlberg and Edward Norton. Sam Mendes directed Jarhead with Jake Gyllenhaal. And this is Jurassic Park Part 3. And Jurassic World. The action thriller Law Abiding Citizen with Jamie Foxx and Gerard Butler. Black crime comedy In Bruges with Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson and Ray Fiennes. Then 2 sci-fi films starring Will Smith, I Am Legend and I, Robot, directed by Alex Proyas. Silly but amusing disaster movie, The Core. And the X-Men trilogy, the first 3 X-Men movies. I like the first 2 X-Men movies, Bryan Singer. I think I saw the second one in the cinema. X-Men The Last Stand, the third film, was okay. Yeah. Great cop drama, We Own the Night by James Gray, also starring Robert Duvall. And an exciting Spanish thriller, Intacto, starring Swedish actor Max von Sydow. And I think this movie inspired a later video clip by The Prodigy when they released their Pendulum remix of Voodoo People. Nice vampire film, Daybreakers, with Ethan Hawke and Willem Dafoe. And this is another entertaining vampire flick, 30 Days of Night, with Josh Hartnett. Next tag. Todd Phillips' Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. George Miller's Mad Max Fury Road, really like that one. And this is an average Donnie Yen martial arts actioner, Legend of the Fist, also known as Legend of Chen Zhen. This is the action comedy, Korean action comedy Killer Lady with Shu Qi. It was part 3 of a franchise. My Wife is a Gangster. They only released this one due to the mild popularity of Shu Qi, perhaps. Hong Kong actioner by Daniel Lee, White Vengeance. And this is a really good drama directed by Romanian director Cristian Mungiu, Baccalaureate, translated as college degree. Really good film. Electric Dragon 80,000 Volts with Tadanobu Asano by Sogo Ishii. And Sogo Ishii did another film with Asano, Dead and Run. Pretty unknown, good film. This is Andrea Arnold's Red Road. and a great horror flick by Guillermo del Toro, The Devil's Backbone. Odia's Western, The Sisters Brothers, yeah, with John C. Reilly and Joaquin Phoenix. And this was a blatant Escape from New York ripoff, but an entertaining one, I have to admit. Guy Pearce in Lockout. Another entertaining one, Looper, with Bruce Willis, and a funny political satire, In the Loop. Black comedy about the life of Bob Crane by Paul Schrader, Autofocus. And an intense drama about relationships and breakups and jealousy, Mike Nichols' Closer. Dwayne Johnson and Billy Bob Thornton in Faster. And this one I also liked, Heath Ledger in A Knight's Tale. Quite possibly one of Paul Walker's best roles, Running Scared. And this is another Korean actioner, Typhoon. And this is a horror film directed by one of the Pang brothers, Abnormal Beauty, and the Pang brothers did The Eye. One of my favorite Hong Kong directors, Johnny To, did a fantastic movie, Mad Detective. Really good drama by Russian director Andrei Zavyagintsev, Loveless. And this was the first Zavyagintsev film that I ever saw, and still my favorite, The Return. David O. Russell's The Fighter is in my collection. And this is a DVD double pack, Zhang Yimou's Hero. And on a bonus disc, you'll find another movie starring Jet Li, great martial arts film, Last Hero in China by Jing Wong. And Hero is so beautiful that I decided to upgrade it to Blu-ray. A few years later, Zhang Yimou did another great martial arts film, House of Flying Daggers. And this is a really funny martial arts comedy by Stephen Chow, Kung Fu Hustle. He also did the hilarious Shaolin Soccer. And that one I also own on UK DVD. Then one of the great Criterion sets back then, basically 3 adaptations of Ernest Hemingway's short story The Killers. This is the Don Siegel version from 1964 starring Lee Marvin. Also included was the 46 version directed by Robert Siodmak, starring Burt Lancaster, and they also included a short student film by my favorite director, Andrei Tarkovsky. Yeah, great set. Some other Siodmak films, one of my favorite swashbucklers of all time, The Crimson Pirate, again starring Burt Lancaster. One of the iconic noirs, Burt Lancaster and Yvonne De Carlo in Crisscross. And this is Ella Raines in Phantom Lady, again Robert Siodmak. Then one of my favorite Nicholas Ray films and one of my favorite James Mason performances, Bigger Than Life. Then some movies by William Wyler, some classics, Walter Pidgeon and Greer Garson in Miss Miniver. Very old DVD of Ben-Hur with Charlton Heston. And I really love that film, so I upgraded it to Blu-ray. This is The Other Carrie film drama by William Wyler, Laurence Olivier, Jennifer Jones. Carrie, good film. And another masterpiece by William Wyler, The Best Years of Our Lives, with Myrna Loy and Frederick March. And yeah, again, a fantastic drama. Montgomery Clift and Olivia de Havilland in The Heiress. Again, a William Wyler film. Yep. Next up, The Wages of Fear, fantastic thriller by Henri-Georges Clouzot, starring Yves Montand, and remade later by Friedkin as Sorcerer. James Mason in Journey to the Center of the Earth. Joseph L. Mankiewicz, All About Eve with Anne Baxter, and a terrific performance by Betty Davis. Also on Dutch special edition. Then a few more by Mankiewicz, James Mason and Michael Rennie in The Five Fingers. Gene Tierney and Vincent Price in Dragonwyck. I think Mankiewicz won Academy Award for directing for this one, A Letter to Three Wives with Kirk Douglas and Linda Darnell. I love Linda Darnell, very good actress. And this is Cary Grant and Gene Crane, and The People Will Talk. Then a couple of Fritz Lang films, Stuart Granger in Moonfleet, Glenn Ford and Gloria Graham in Human Desire, which was a remake of a Jean Renoir film with Jean Gabin, La Bête Humaine. And then one of my favorite Fritz Lang films, tough film noir, this one, Glenn Ford and Gloria Graham again in The Big Heat. This is Louis Malle's beautiful Elevator to the Gallows with Jeanne Moreau, music by Miles Davis. And then a couple of films by John Ford, Walter Pidgeon, and Maureen O'Hara in How Green Was My Valley, one of favorite movies of my mother. The Western My Darling Clementine with Henry Fonda. And this is John Wayne in Three Godfathers, directed by John Ford. Then a historical adventure film by Henry Hathaway, Tyrone Powers and Orson Welles in The Black Rose. I think they did another one, Welles and Powers. Then three film noir by Hathaway, 13 Rue Madeline with James Cagney. This is Kiss of Death with Victor Mature, and another one, another actor that I think should be more well known, Brian Donlevy. And this is The House on 92nd Street. Entertaining, sort of FBI propaganda piece, not real propaganda, but they show the inner workings of the FBI. This is Born Yesterday with Broderick Crawford, William Holden, and a terrific performance by Judy Holliday, directed by George Cukor. Then some other George Cukor films like It Should Happen to You, again starring Judy Holliday and Jack Lemmon and Peter Lawford. Then a film Cukor directed in the 1930s, David Copperfield, adaptation of Charles Dickens. Another film from the 30s that Cukor did with Wallace Beery, Jean Harlow, and John and Lionel Barrymore, Dinner at 8. This is The Philadelphia Story with Cary Grant, James Stewart, and Katharine Hepburn. And then some Wilder films, Billy Wilder. This is Five Grays to Cairo with Anne Baxter and Erich von Stroheim. I'm a big Marlene Dietrich fan, so this is A Foreign Affair with Jean Arthur and Marlene Dietrich. And this is an iconic film noir directed by Billy Wilder, Double Indemnity. Wilder also did the allegedly first film about alcoholism, Ray Milland. I love Ray Milland, and Jane Wyman in The Lost Weekend. Then a couple of films by Max Ophuls. This is one of my favorite love stories of all time, Letter from an Unknown Woman, starring Louis Jourdan. and Joan Fontaine, who is the real-life sister of Olivia de Havilland, who starred in The Heiress. This is the film The Earrings of Madame de, another great one, also starring Vittorio De Sica and Charles Boyer. And Ophuls also directed a film noir. This is Caught with James Mason. And the only film in color that I own that Max Ophuls did, Lola Montez with Martine Cole, I think her name was. This is Sidney Lumet's 12 Angry Men. Great Raoul Walsh, historic adventure film. Gregory Peck and Vincent Mayo, Virginia Mayo in Captain Horatio Hornblower. Loved that one when I was a kid. Noir classic High Sierra by Raoul Walsh with Humphrey Bogart, Ida Lupino. And then a few movies that director Otto Preminger did. Lee Remick and James Stewart in the court drama Anatomy of a Murder. First film about drug addiction, The Man with the Golden Arm with Frank Sinatra. Again, iconic noir, fantastic. Gene Tierney and Dana Andrews in Laura. Then a movie by Anthony Mann, James Stewart and June Allison in The Glenn Miller Story. And this is my favorite Anthony Mann film ever, James Stewart and Janet Leigh in The Naked Spur. Great Western. Historical adventure film by Robert Wise, Helen of Troy. And Robert Wise also did one of the best sci-fi films ever, The Day the Earth Stood Still with Michael Rennie. Then some John Huston films. This is Humphrey Bogart in Beat the Devil. Humphrey Bogart and Edward G. Robinson in Key Largo, also starring Lauren Bacall. Humphrey Bogart did 4 movies with actress and soon-to-be wife Lauren Bacall. This is one of them. Really good film. John Huston's The African Queen. Humphrey Bogart. I think won his only Academy Award for this one. Also starring Katharine Hepburn. Often marked as the beginning of film noir, 1941's The Maltese Falcon, debut feature of John Huston with Humphrey Bogart again. And this is the Blu-ray. And this is John Huston's Moulin Rouge, starring José Ferrer. Noir About Hollywood by Vincent Minnelli, The Bad and the Beautiful. Kirk Douglas also starred in Minnelli's Lust for Life, in which he played Dutch painter Vincent van Gogh, we say. A nice musical with Gene Kelly that Minnelli did, Brigadoon. And then some Capra pictures, Gene Arthur, James Stewart in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. This is Mr. Deeds Goes to Town with Gary Cooper. Then my favorite Capra film, It's a Wonderful Life. This is the Dutch DVD. This is the German Blu-ray. And I also own UK Blu-ray. Then the screwball comedy It Happened One Night with Clark Gable and Claudette Colbert. Arsenic and Old Lace with Cary Grant. And then 4 great films. This one is a masterpiece by Elia Kazan. Marlon Brando in On the Waterfront. Gregory Peck in A Gentleman's Agreement. Fantastic film noir, this one. Panic in the Streets with Richard Widmark and Jack Palance. And the last for today is Elia Kazan's East of Eden, my favorite film of James Dean. Yeah. Till next time, goodbye.